Okay, so let me just switch things over. Hold on. This is gonna look a little different than how things usually go because normally, the normally the game screen is like on the screen that's to the right of me, so that I can look at it and thus give the illusion that I'm looking directly at the game footage that y'all are seeing. However, the However, this is something I can't really do. I can't really 3D model with a keyboard. So, let me see if I can set this up. Yeah, okay, there's Blockbench. All right, there we go. So, I posted some of the 3D models I've made in. So let me turn on this music. I guess I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So yeah, I posted some of the 3D models I've made in the Discord. This will kind of be the first time I've made one of these on stream. Hold on. I have to find the right concept sketch for what I wanted to do. So, there's a lot of concept sketches in here. Okay, let's get to see. Okay, let me see if I can just set that right there. And yeah, this is the program I use to 3D model in. It's called Blockbench, and the way it's basically it was originally designed. It was originally made as a program to add like Minecraft mods. Basically to make mods for Minecraft. That's what it was created as. Is like to make your own unique mods for Minecraft. However, because it works so well with simple shapes. Because it works so well with simple shapes, I started using it to make like low polygon 3D models. Because well, it's so easy to model and like draw. It's so easy to like model and texture stuff in this for me that it just worked really well. So hold on, I'm gonna make. So there's something. Oh, okay, model identifier texture. Let me actually go to. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, but yeah, just as an example of some of the other models I've made in here. I've shown some of these in disc. I've shown some of these in the Discord before. But yeah, here's my own take on the Buster sword that I made. And again, all with simple shapes of like, or like all starting with simple shapes. And then also the classic, the beloved, everyone's favorite, the red barrel. Everyone's favorite video game prop, the red barrel. So when I'm doing this is because I like started some of the games for people because I started some of the games for Brawloween. Decided to like there was a game concept I had for a potential survival horror game, and one of the weapons that like one of the things that was majorly featured in there was like the player's character's ability to use a knife. Like basically there'd be like it'd be an expansion to like melee mechanics to the character. So first thing I'm gonna actually make is this is well, let me just so yeah, we're just gonna start off by making basically a knife. Actually, check to see which will work better here. I think cuboid will work well. Yeah, I think cuboid will work well. And let me actually give. Okay, so y'all are gonna basically getting to see in real time. Let me actually. Y'all getting to see in real time how I make all these models I'm sharing, and we'll probably be making models for any games that I do end up making because I'd really wanted to get I really 3D. If I can design video games, I really want to go with like 3D. And well, this if I can make the models made in Blockbench here work in like whatever game engine I use, then it'll help. Then it'll be like really helpful to me. Okay, it's like So let me go and pull up this one because this is another model. This is another model I showed off in the Discord. So far, I will admit, so far mainly the models I've been making have been swords and some other things, but the majority of them have been swords so far, just because, well, I think swords are cool. And that's it. That's the reason. Okay, let me check here. So that's 1.56. Yeah, I'll make this one a little bit bigger. So yeah, this will be kind of the last portion of this stream, and I don't know. I probably won't be able to fully make a model and like fully texture it. However, I can at least I'll at least get started on it. So let me check to see. This is actually I might want to add. Yeah, I might want to add that instead. No, that's. Nah, that'll be fine. Let me just. This will be fine. Okay. And let me select there. Okay, let me just shift that around. Offset it. So, part of the reason I like using Blockbench so much for what 3D modeling I do is because it's got this one handy feature here, and I don't. There might be some other things that have this, but this is just like I just found it in this one, so I like using it here. It's something called a loop cut, where I could basically just make an extra I could make an extra vertice, and then now I can kind of independently change. I can independently change all these different sections of a side. Let me add loop cut. Okay, let me actually make them like around here. Sleepless says, just poking in from Lurk, having a rough week at work this week and don't want to dump it on you guys, but wanted to say hey. Hey, Sleepless. Happy to see you. Hope work gets better. And, well, I can at least, this may not fully brighten your day, but I can at least tell you that, Valkyria Chronicles is slightly in the lead on the donation duel. Thanks to Lusume. So, hope the rest of the work week is much better for you. Yeah, hope the rest of the work week is much better for you. Let me see if I can try. It's like. So it says, I see that Valkyrian was winning, and I'm thankful to Lusume for it. Okay, let me try. Maybe I should have used the bevel. No, this kind of works a little bit better. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. No, not extruding it. That's not a good thing. I don't want to make a hole in it. Okay, actually, I don't think 4 loop cuts is enough. Let me actually make, like, 8. No, let me make like 8. That might be good enough. And... Okay, yeah. Oh, dang, no. Let me try here. Slip says, in order to not work my 6th Saturday in a row, I need to make 1,000 a week, a feat I have not technically pulled off since my first week. As of right now for this week, I am sitting at $85 for the week total. Oh, jeez. Is that like all the work, after all the work you've done, that's all you're going to get to earn for this week? Because that's really fucked up. Sleep says yes. Jeez, what the hell? Okay, that's really yeah, that's really fucked up. Oh jeez. Okay, no, not there. Let me actually select the little object. And no, not that. No, not that way. Actually, yeah, I want to make it thinner. And then let me just. Hmm. So it says because I've only made one sale in the territory I'm in this week, and the one sale I made was done on a team day where profits were split 50-50% with me and the coworker for the day. What? Why are there so many extraneous rules to you getting paid? Why? Why are there so many extraneous rules to your work? It's okay. I might actually need to use. Let me take a look at this. Hold on. Let me actually just pull up the pictures of the actual knives I have, because they'll probably be better served than the sketch I made. Hmm. It's not exactly rounded. Maybe. No. Okay. Hmm. 0.5. Let's see how thin that is. No, that's a bit too thin. Slip says, but when I try to explain that I'm in a rough area that's not paying out on the numbers, I met with toxic positivity, and in instances that I need to work harder and longer in order to track down those sales that I should be making with all the effort I'm putting into the territory. Dang, Sleepless. I really hope you're able to find something much better soon, because that just sounds like a nightmare to work at. Okay, let me add. Yeah, I will add a not a pyramid. I guess maybe. Yeah, beveled cuboid might be the right one to use. Okay. Slim says, too long didn't read. Don't go into sales. It's a fucking hellscape, and I hate everything about it after 2 months. There's been zero redeeming qualities from it. Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah, those are. I've seen some of those jobs, and I have made sure to avoid them because they just look. I. They look. They don't look. They don't look great. Like every one of them I've seen doesn't look great. Hmm. I guess. Actually, let me check here. Hmm. That's like 6. Okay, let me try actually decreasing the size of this. And so this is actually one minor benefit. I think I lost 15 to 20 pounds from all the exercise I'm doing. I at least have the energy to walk 80K steps a week now. Not that I fucking want to. Jeez. Yeah, I hope you're able to find something much better as soon as possible, Sleepless, because that just sounds like a fucking nightmare to work at. And I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. Hmm. Maybe. Okay. These edges definitely feel. So he says, yeah, sorry for dumping that on you. Man, no, you're fine. You're fine. I have been dumping my job woes on y'all for the past, yeah, for most of the year now. So yeah, you're fine to absolutely bring this up. Seriously, and I'm sorry that you're having to go through this. Let me try. Oh wait, no, not the tube. Probably will want. You know, I guess I'll just add good old another cuboid. Okay, this one's like 8, 0.5. It should also be 0.5. So 5, 2. Okay, let me do. Hmm. Actually, I think it should be 0.5, not. What? Jeez. Alright. Yeah, that's better. And let me drop this down significantly. And let me drop. No, about 2.5 ought to be good. And let me try. Yeah, you can probably see already why this has been helping me, why I've been talking so much about 3D modeling, because thanks to this program and how much it reduced, like 3D modeling and other programs I tried got really like it was really difficult for me to learn the beginning steps. But because this is me like working with low polygon models, and it starts with simple shapes. It starts with because it starts with simple shapes. I'm able to simplify the beginning process, and because of the different tools this has, I'm able to simplify the beginning process to the point where I can much more easily understand it. Okay, let me actually try, because I'd like to add. So let me add this. And no, okay. Actually, let me add another loop cut. So let me select here and loop cut. I'm gonna offset that by. Okay, no, that's not good. Okay, no, 1. I guess that's good. Oh wait, I need to make that movement a little bit more subtle. There, that's a bit better. Okay, and then if I just move that. Let me try 1.5. No. No. Now I need to move that like negative 0.5. Negative 0.25, maybe? I'd like it to be like negative 0.20. Let me try that. Okay, that's a little better. 0.2, about negative 15. A little better. Oh, dang. Okay, no. How about that? Okay, that'll work well. And okay, it's good for the bottom portion of the handle. It does feel like this is a bit too tall. That was like... Okay, let me try... Hmm. Yeah, that ought to... I think that'll... Well... Okay, it's a knife, not a sword. I'm basing this off a sword, however, this sword was, However, this sword is also... This is a sword, it's not a knife. Knives are smaller, so... Let me try... I guess let me try dropping it to... Not that much, but... Yeah, 5. 5 might be good. Hmm. Okay, no, that dropped it too much into the... Into that bottom part, so let me just... Yeah, that ought to work. This is also... Okay, I said that I won't be able... I won't be able to do as much. I'm probably not going to be finishing this tonight, but... This is... This is like a good, a good test for me to see, like, since I've only got 2 hours to work on this. This is a good way to test out, like, see how to get myself faster at making models. And I'll probably start off by doing like more simple stuff, and then as I get as I get better, I'll start doing more complicated things. Maybe even start making like multi-part projects that'll Okay, that's not gonna work. I think answer is another... Probably another... Well, actually, let me try the beveled cuboid this time. But then as I get more into this, I might actually start doing like more complicated models that take me like... And then just do them over the course of multiple streams. But if I do that, then it'll be just like... be like a week in between streams, which would be quite a bit of time to work on one model. Okay, and then let me drop that down significantly. Jeez, okay, that's better. Let me try 0.5, because we need to make it smaller. Yeah, I need to make it smaller. Alright. Yeah, what I'll probably do for pixel art streams is either fan art, like fan art of sprites I've wanted to make, or sprite art I've wanted to make, or alternatively, like make some concepts for some of these smaller video game ideas that I've thought about making. And this should just kind of basically make a concept screen of like a concept screen of like, if I were to make this game, what would it look? What would a gameplay screen of it look like? Hmm. Okay, that's there. No, not that. Let's try 0.5. This is gonna need to be thin, and that'll work well. Yeah, I did. I'll definitely. Because I have no idea how long these streams like this will last. Just because it's really going to heavily depend upon when I can find a new job, or how soon I can find a new job. What'll likely... Actually, let me increase the size of this. I'll definitely be revisiting, like, I'm probably gonna keep up this whole thing of, like, just until I can find a new job and start working there. The 8-hour long streams are gonna be, like, first, third, revisiting one of the games I've been meaning to revisit, second, third, playing one of the games for Halloween, and then third, modeling or 3D modeling or pixel art. Okay, let me see if I can move this in because I want to make this. That's not great. It's kind of better. Dang. Lasuma says I'm back. Welcome back, Lasumi. Okay, so. Huh, those lines don't look good now that I look at this. Yeah, those lines kind of curve in on. Yeah, those lines kind of actually curve in on cells, which kind of messes with the model. Hmm. That's gonna really mess with the tech. That's also gonna mess with the texture too. Hmm. I want to just try. No, no. I want to try. Actually, hold on. Let me select this, and then let me just. And I guess let me try and make another cuboid to fit underneath here. For what I want to make. I think it's 0.5, and you try 2. That ought to work. Yeah, alright, that works. Okay, this one's gonna need to be smaller, so... There we go. 5, okay. That's very small. That's about right, actually, though. Hmm. Okay, let me actually try... Yeah, only like a little bit doing this, like I started learning like 3D polygon style modeling because that's what I wanted to do. But after just a little bit doing this, I can easily understand now why so many like indie devs use this. That because the because one, it's got like that PS1 style that like people really like, and then also it's got also there's this is just a lot easier. This is just, at least for me, this is so much easier to make. I can just I can put stuff together so much more quickly with this. Okay, so I wanted to try adding. Hmm, hold on, let me try saving. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, let me go ahead and save the work I've done so far. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I wanted to try, if I can. Actually, let me make this a bit smaller. It's better. And let me try making this a little bit thinner. Well, actually, no, that's pretty good. Okay, so now let me bring in the tube. Let me actually try to make sort of a hand guard here. Okay, that's a bit too big. Hmm. Let me set it that. And okay, that works. You just rotate that about. No, wrong one. Wrong direction. Just rotate that about. There we go. And now rotate it at 90 degrees. There, that's better. It's a bit too thick, so I'm gonna need to cut off a good portion of this. So let me just take that. If I were to move it here, let me see where that would line up. Okay, let me make that a bit smaller. Yeah, make that a bit smaller. Hmm. Excuse me. Maybe not that small. Yeah, maybe not that small. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. Well, that makes it about that big. So, yeah, let me try. Okay, in that case, then I think let me go ahead and delete portions of this. So let me just. Yeah, let me just delete portions of this to make like a half circle. Well, less than half a circle, really, because of how much of this I'm going to delete. And ah, dang it. Okay, let me reselect all these parts, and then I'll do this all over again. Okay, I need to delete these parts now. I should be able to create. Yeah, let me just select. Let me just close off the ends of these. There, that's now faced there. Oh. And now let me do the same here. So yeah, just select all four of these, create a face, and there. Now I'm gonna. That's not gonna match up well. Maybe if I try. No, I gotta make it like. I gotta make this shorter, so. No, okay, that's. Mm, let me try this whole thing. What if I made this whole thing? No, that's not it. Okay. That's not it either. Hmm. That works a little bit better, but. Okay. Let me try. Right. There we go. Guess... No, that didn't work. No, that doesn't work either. Okay. Hmm. That... Yeah, that doesn't work exactly. Let me try... Okay, now, let me move that up a little bit, and then try to rotate that around. And then move it back down. So like... That's very close to... It's very close to what I want. But... Might... I prefer that to be like one... I prefer that to be like one shape. And not be stuck there in the middle, but... It might work best. Assume says you're making a pirate sword? I'm making a knife, really. I'm basically, yeah, making a knife with a handguard right now, so... Actually try to see if I can... Nope. Not that way. Oh, geez, no. No, that's not good either. Okay. But, yeah, let me see... Right now I'm trying, yeah, now I'm trying to make the handguard for it. So this part that comes over to that guards the hand, the part that comes over the hand. No, a guard. Yeah, the part that comes over the hand. But I'm trying to see this. Okay, the tube might not be the shape I need. Let me see if I can use. Well, there is the torus. I could try the torus. Yeah, the torus might actually be better. Let me shorten that down to 1. Sides 12, that's good. Yeah, that'll probably actually work a little bit better. Let me delete that tube, and then let me rearrange the torus into place, because I think that'd work a little bit better. Okay, so let me rotate that 90 degrees, then rotate that another 90 degrees. Oh, wait. Not 90 degrees in that direction. Rotate it 90 degrees there, and then rotate it 90 degrees there. Yeah, that's better. So now I can actually move this and compare it to the rest of what I made. And let's try and make that... Yeah, that's about 11. Try and make that 8. Hmm. 6. Okay, that's good. And let me see. I might not need to delete like half of the... I might not need to delete half of this in order to make it fit. See if I can try. Okay, let me delete those sides. Delete that one. Okay, I'll definitely need to delete, like, these. And probably those. Okay. So next, let me... Yeah, now let me try rotating this all and see how that fits. So... Not... It just barely... Let me see. That just barely doesn't make it, I think. No. Let me actually try making this a little bit longer. That works a bit better. As soon as it says, oh, yeah, I got my time off approved, so I'm going to be off work for a while next month from October 1st to 19th. Nice. Congrats. Enjoy your vacation time. Let me see. That might work. I need to, like, make these a little bit shorter. Yeah, I need to make these a little bit shorter, and let me just try... Okay, not that way. That doesn't really work either. Okay, let's try... No, okay, let me not try and... Let me move this out for a second. Back out for a second. No, let me not try and shorten them by their faces. Let me try and shorten the edges. So let me select these, and okay, that edge, and it should be this one. Okay, let me try. Dang it, no, didn't want to do that. Nope. No. Trying to move them. So let me see if I can just... Okay, that works a bit better. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can fit these here. Oh yeah, just a little reminder, Saturday will be another full 18 hours of Trails to Azure. Oh boy. That game continues to be amazing, but we're getting to the point we're getting to some pretty we're getting some pretty crazy stuff happening in the story. Well, I mean, we haven't the game has not stopped being like world changing events have not stopped they have not stopped happening in the game. They've just been constant world changing events for the past, like, oh gosh, two streams. Okay, let me try. Oh, sorry. Hmm. As soon as it's one of two games for the Trails Order games I haven't finished. You're in for a heck of a time then. I'm really liking it. I think yeah, I've been really loving it so far. But oh, but oh gosh, I'm not sure how long that's. I'm not sure how much more I have left in that game. I know I'm starting. I'm like near the start of the final chapter, but I also know that that final chapter is going to take me like a long time. So I'm assuming. So I'm going to take the safe option and assume it's going to take me an entire year. Just that whole chapter will take me like one entire year, which means get in as much. Which means if you want me to play XCOM or XCOM 2 or Valkyria Chronicles, get those donations ready because it might be a long time before I am actually able to start them. All right, let me try. Lasuma says, "I know more or less what happens, but rather stay in the dark about it." I understand that. Yeah, yeah, we're kind of at the. I'm kind of at the point with me playing through it that if someone joins, I'm kind of at the point with me playing through it that I'm where if someone joins and they haven't been watching throughout the whole playthrough, I'm kind of like, I kind of have to give them a disclaimer like, hey, you're about to see massive spoilers. Maybe uh, just consider that in case you want to play this game before you or you continue watching. Hmm. All right, let me try. Nope. Hmm. Try rotating it again. Ah, it's like just short. Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't really get that. Hmm. No. Hmm. You know what? Let me actually. I'm gonna let me hide that for now, and then let me get to making the blade of the knife, and then I'll see if I like that. If I prefer it looking like that. So time for another cube. I'm guessing you're asking there, Lusume, is it hyperbole to say that Zero and Azure are two of the most important games of the whole series? Which I can't really speak to that because I haven't played. Like I've only played Trails from Zero, and I'm currently playing through Trails to Azure, so I can't really speak to that myself. But I mean, they seem very important considering all the shit that's happening in them. Hmm. Hmm. All right, we're gonna try. Hmm. 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 Okay, let me move this a little bit over here. Back this way. Okay, and let me make some loop cuts here. I think just... Well, let me check to see how I made this, because I made a couple loop cuts here. Okay, let me try... Ah, dang. Alright, let me... Yeah, let me add a loop cut, and let me actually offset that and kind of bring it all the way down here. And... Okay, let's see if I can just... Yeah, that works for there. Kind of need to bring this out a bit further, though. No, actually, I need... Okay, let me add another loop cut. Set that off. And kind of... Yeah, move that down. Okay. Actually, no. Let me move that down a little bit farther. Okay. And let me draw that out a little bit. But yeah, let me just... Yeah, that's... Oh, dang it. That's not the way I wanted to go. Okay. Okay, that's working so far. But yeah, just going back to Trails from Zero Trails to Zero, gosh. I hope I am. I'm gonna try to beat that before the end of the month, and I hope I am able to. Because my gosh, I've been playing. I've been playing Trails to Azure. I've been playing it since the last week of May. I've been saying this throughout this whole playthrough that dang, this is one of the best video games I've ever played. But my gosh, it's so long. And its length is justified considering what all is happening there. But my goodness, it's taking me over 3 months to play through it. And that's with like every stream of it being like 6 to 8 hours long. Okay, let me try. No, I want to select this one. How does it look if I move this down? Bit. That's a bit better. Yeah. I think actually, let me make this whole thing. And let me actually make this. So let me select these edges and kind of move these down. Oh, dang it. Okay, no, that's not. That's not exactly. Okay, let me try selecting the faces then. I want to make this a little bit shorter. Or a lot of bit shorter, really. Okay. And I might not even, like, when I do another 3D model next Thursday, I might not even continue this one. I might start on a different one. And, like, off stream, I continue with this. Off stream, I work on this one. It really just depends on how I feel. Oh, jeez. Okay, okay, for this case, I might need to... Yeah, let me select these faces again. I guess let me try making them a bit smaller. Yeah, let me try making these... Okay, no. Yeah, making these a little bit smaller. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. And I guess let me make this a little bit. No, that looks to be about the right size. Okay, that looks to be about the right size, so... Hmm. Okay, so now... Well, first, let me make sure that this... where this is situated. Okay, it's resting right on top of there. Yeah, resting right on top of the guard. Okay, in that case... I'll now need to add the edge to here. So let me add that here, and then loop cut. And I think it needs to be like 2. Yeah, I think that's how I did it. It's like 2 loop cuts. I'll check here, because this is where I did it. Okay, right. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna... let me try... No. Hmm. Hmm. No, I don't think that's right. Yeah. Let me take a look again at how I did this. I did... Okay. I think... let me try selecting these. No, not there. No, it's not it. Trying to remember how I did it for this. Is like make the edge. Actually, let me just try it with... let me just try it with 1 loop cut. And it might have been just... I might have done it is just take this one edge I made and then just draw it out a little bit. Just pull... Yeah, just basically take this one edge and pull it out a little bit. That might have been how I did it. Yep, that might be it. Oh wait, well now it's got this weird... or now it's got this weird part at the end. Let me check, because I did add a point here on top. Okay, let me try drawing it out this way. Okay, that looks a bit better. And now for this one. Let me try drawing this a bit out. Okay, I think that'll work. You just take a look at it. If I were to pull... Let me actually try, though, seeing if I could maybe pull these edges back. Or pulling these edges back. I'm trying to give it, like, more... Make it look a little bit sharper. Should mean pulling these back a little bit. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that makes it looks a little bit sharper, so yeah, that works. And then I might just forego adding that extra handguard. I might just forego adding that extra handguard and just go ahead and try and texture this. And that might be a good idea. Okay. So, let me get rid of that forest. Don't think I need it. Okay. Let me name all these so I can actually tell them apart. Okay, and let me go ahead and try and make a texture for this. So, what I'll need to do is select the whole thing. Let me add a texture. So, create texture. It's going to call this knife. Let me set this to 64 pixel density. And confirm. So yeah, another one of the reasons why I use Blockbench for modeling, for 3D modeling, is that in addition to it like being very simple to make like simple it makes it a lot easier for me to make like low poly objects. It also makes it much easier to paint them. Which is basically like I'm basically adding a texture. Wonderfrist says, "I see you have picked up Blockbench." Yes, good. Oh, hey, Wonderfrist. Yeah, I've been using Blockbench for some time to make 3D models, and decided to finally do some streams where I actually make 3D models on stream. But I've mentioned before that I want to do I want to do video game design, And I'd really like to do like 3D like assets for video games, like make 3D video games. And if that's the case, well, Blockbench will. I would love to do like a low polygon PS1 look, and Blockbench helps me out with that really well. So yeah, yeah. Hi, Wonderfirst, welcome in. Wonderfirst says I actually been using it a bit the past few months from program, even been learning the animation stuff. Yeah, I have started using animation stuff. I've mainly been like building and painting models so far, but I do want to. I will be using the animation stuff because that's something I'll have to learn. But yeah, let me go ahead and try painting it. So yeah, for those who haven't used Blockbench, this is kind of one of the reasons why I really like using it. Basically, I've used Blender in the past many years ago, and the whole 3D texturing was a was like it was really difficult for me. With this, by reducing like the texture to like paintable squares, because each square is like an individual pixel. Because of that, that means that I can get it means that it's a lot easier for me to like paint this, and also I could get really detailed with the model as long as I do it right. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Just real. Also, there are some cases where there are times where I won't notice a problem with the model until I actually set it up to paint, like in this case. Like here, like here, where upon me extruding this edge, this half, like this small part of the blade doesn't match up with this small part, which might seem small, but to me, part of the reason I like doing this with hand by hand is I'm kind of a perfectionist. So let me delete that and then let me try to remake that. Let me try to remake that face. I don't think I selected the right. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't select the right. Okay. You can still see through there. Here, let me try selecting the different edges instead of the vertices. Hmm. No, still didn't make a proper. Still didn't make a face because I can see right through there. Hmm. Okay. Let me instead try then, if I can. Let me delete that face, then select this face. Now that's gonna delete the whole. That's gonna copy the whole model. Yeah, that's not. It's not a good idea. All right. Hmm. I had that happen when I made this, but I was able to correct it. Although it does look a bit off, honestly. Let me try. But this did work last time where I could make a face. Yeah, I was able to make a face between these. So let me try doing this again. It might be. Hmm. No, that didn't. Hmm. Nope, didn't work. Here, let me delete that texture and I'll redo it in just a second. But first, yeah, first I'm gonna have to. First, I'm gonna have to recreate this. So, here's that. Let me try to do this again. Oh, but use edge. Yeah, let me use edge this time. There we go. Okay, that worked better. I should be able to, yeah. Okay. Actually, it looks a little uneven. No, okay. Okay, there we go. So yeah. Sometimes adding in the paint allows me to see, or adding in the making the texture allows me to see what problems, or like what issues I'm having with the model before that I wouldn't have noticed before. So. Okay, now let me just select all these, and then create texture, knife, gonna go 64, and... Okay, there we go. Now I can paint. So yeah, I like this because it allows me to make... With the painting feature here, it allows me to make low polygon 3D models, but also can get really in-depth, or like I can get really detailed with painting it. So let me start first. Let me pick a base color. I'm gonna probably do what I did with this Buster sword, where I pick just kind of like blue, like a metallic blue for it. Yeah, I kind of pick. Yeah, let me use a metallic blue. Yeah, it might be fun to because I'm only like it's only 11:11. It might be fun to like try and come up with a list of like smaller 3D models and like try to speed make them, speed create them and paint them in like within the last 2 hours. For those who don't know, basically because I'm really trying hard to find a new job right now, and just the sooner I find a new job, the better. That is kind of that's kind of gonna limit the what I'm able to do for streams. And so what I'm like that basically that's gonna limit the number of like new games I can play per stream, or like games I can fully play through per stream. So what I'm gonna be doing for like Tuesdays and Thursdays up until I'm able to find a new job, which will hopefully be some point soon. I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna be doing is like first third of the stream, the first 3 hours are gonna be me replaying a game that I've been meaning to revisit on stream. So like Street Fighter 6, Helldivers 2, which I was playing earlier, and then yeah, Helldivers 2, Street Fighter 6, other games like that, Then the second half will be me. The second group of 3 hours will be me starting like one of the games from Brawloween that I've been meaning that I'll be playing for Brawloween. So let me take a look here. So what that means is color picker. Let me grab that color. So that means like, for example, I was just playing Silent Hill 2. Like I'm starting a first playthrough of Silent Hill 2 earlier. And that'll probably be what I continue on Thursdays. And then on Tuesdays, I'm gonna be starting Look Outside, which is a indie horror game that released earlier this year. And then the last 2 hours of the streams will be me doing some art. So like on Thursdays, I'll be doing 3D modeling, and on Tuesdays, I'll be doing on Tuesdays I will be doing gosh, it was pixel art, because I'm also trying to learn pixel art. Here, let's try color this all one color. And let me just hide all these other things for right now so I can fully color the blade. So yeah, it's gonna be a mix of like revisiting games, playing some, revisiting games I've been meaning to revisit, playing some spooky games, playing some horror games for to start Halloween celebrations off. Well, you might say 2 months is a little too early. Is a little too early to start celebrating Halloween, but I say that's just right. and then yeah, like working on art for the last couple of hours. Okay, and texture is a little bit uneven. Yeah, I probably should have rearranged it a little bit over here so that I could so that some of the squares wouldn't be uneven. That's my bad. Okay, let's see. And yeah, as you can see, part of the reason I'm really liking 3D modeling now and been doing it a lot more is that when Blockbench, it's even for a beginner like me, it's simple enough to like pick up and learn that I can like it doesn't take me that long to work on models, which is great. However, I've just run into the issue that hold on, I just run into an issue that gosh, the free. I need to be applying for jobs just constantly, so I haven't been able to do this as much as I'd hoped. This blade, this does look a little uneven. Let me actually. I think that also might be a little sunk in. Let me compare these two. So that's these two match. Yeah, that doesn't look like it matches. That looks a bit sunk in. Let me actually. So I'm gonna need to try. Okay, no. And it means I'll have to restart all over with this, so. This happened quite a bit while I was working on this sword as well. Just I realized that some of the faces were uneven, and I had to restart over from the beginning. But it's fine. It's better that I catch it now than right before the final product. All right, no. Okay, let me create this all over again. Wait, hold on. Let me just check to make sure that fits. Yeah, okay, that fits. Okay. Back to restarting this. I guess for now. Yeah, I'll color this all. Actually, let me make it a bit shinier. Yeah, let me make it a bit lighter in color, as like the base color. Well, I can't make it too light. Let me go here. There. That'll work a little bit better. Okay, and yeah, let me color this all over again. There, that'll be a good base color for this. Yeah, the whole thing, one thing I've learned because of this, like, pixel art and 3D modeling is that, if you want to really make something look like and I mean, of course, this is probably obvious to anyone who's done any art, but this was just something this is just something I learned while working on this, is that if you want to make something look like a color, you can't just use only that color. It's like something something really doesn't look like it is a color until you shade until you like shade it in and make it like a different variation, like basically multiple variations of that color, like multiple like lighter and darker versions of that base color, like right next to it. Like this doesn't really look like a sort of metallic blue blade right now. This just looks kind of off because it doesn't have that whole like shading on it. I'm also gonna add that too. Let me make the pommel and the handguard the exact same colors. So let me hide that blade. Hmm. Oh, why don't these have a texture? Ah, dang it, just the knife has... Okay, for some reason only the knife has a texture. Okay. Okay, let me just... That again. I thought for certain I had selected all these, but I guess not. Or I guess because they were hidden, it didn't really select all of them. Okay. Let me try that again. Now, that should be all pieces of this. Okay, and... So, yeah, let me hide these. And I guess... Yeah, let me restart this all over. And just color this all in base color. Again, I do just want to say, whilst I'm doing this, if you're able to donate, please consider donating to the stream either through bits, subs, gifting subs, or direct donations. Which let me just go ahead and send that donation link. And that's just because whilst I'm trying to find a new job, any donations right now will really help me out. Will really help me try and stay financially stable. So if you're unable to donate or don't feel like donating, I understand. But yeah, if you are able to donate, please consider doing so just because it'll really help me out. But let me just. And make sure I got all the squares of this. Oh, wait, there's some. Okay, there. And... Hmm. Okay, there. Actually, let me color in. Yeah, okay, let me hide that and color this in. And then I'll get to the pommel after. Yeah, I'll get to the handle afterwards. Okay. Hmm. Now for the actual handle. So, for this... Ah. I can't... Black is a tricky color because it's the darkest color you could possibly shade something, so you can't really... So if I were to just set its base color as black, I couldn't really shade it. Let me actually try like a... Let me actually try and pick like a really dark green instead. Yeah, let me pick like a really dark green instead. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that'll work. Hmm. Okay. And all right, now now that's the base colors, but now for shading. But before we've only got like 35 minutes left, so let me actually try and get this done tonight. So actually, I'll start with the handle as far as shading. But there's a couple of details I'd like to add. I was kind of hoping to add. Yeah, let me try and add. Okay, so some kind of. Yeah, okay, let me add these here and this here. Let me do the same on the other side. Well, I could try making mirror painting, but I don't know if that'll work. It's... Okay, it does work that time. Sometimes mirror painting works really well, other times it doesn't. So actually, I'm gonna try... Okay, that works. I got it there. I guess I could add... Nah, that's a bit too much. Okay, no, that's a bit too much. Now, gotta shade this, so... That's about as dark as I can make it. And let me color that for the bottom 3 areas of this. And here as well. And of course here, on the bottom. And then, well, we should go even darker. So, okay, let me actually color picker, pick that one. Add that to the palette. And then pick that one. Add to the palette. Okay, let's start by going as close to black as I can get it. And I'll do that for the lowest layer. I think that's about as close to black as I can get it. Okay, now. And there. Okay, then... Yeah, okay. Now, make it a little bit lighter for these 4. And make it a little bit lighter there. And do the same for here. And then make it... Yeah, same here. Okay, and let me make it just a little bit grayer. No, it's too gray. Too gray. That'll work. I think. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, yeah. There. Mm, well, that's not really... That's too big of a jump in color. No, okay. Let me see if I could try to pick something a little bit lighter. That still kind of fits. That's basically this color. No, no, actually, this one's a little bit lighter. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me do this instead. So, make these a little bit lighter. Yeah, make these a little bit darker. That's that. And then... Hmm. Hmm. No, okay. Yeah, that's a bit... That's a bit better. Okay, next. Let me go just a little bit lighter. Too light. Hmm. This is honestly... Okay, let me try picking this here. That's just... No, that's a little darker, actually. So... Okay, let me try... You know what? Actually, I think these are a bit significantly too lighter than this. So... Wish I could kind of zoom in here to, like, to get... I kind of wish I could zoom into this color picker to really see what colors I'm picking, but... Alas. Okay. That's a bit better. All right. That's a bit better. And that should already be painted that way, so let me just... Okay. So... Yeah, move that a little bit up. No. Two... Hmm. Okay, let me reselect this. This a little bit up, and let's see how this looks. I guess that'll work. It's like right above it. But it does look kind of significantly lighter. Hmm. Actually, wait, can I go... Let me go to the gray side of things. Too gray. Oh, that's actually great. Dang, that's actually pretty great. Let me actually use this color. Yeah, let me use this down here, and then... Hmm. Okay, and then Now that one's a bit darker, so let me actually select. Okay, let me go back and pick this one. Yeah, this is the part that usually takes me the longest, so you can guess, because just getting the right. Let's getting the right shades down. Hmm. Okay, and that should be that. Hmm. Okay. Next one should be a little bit lighter. Let me actually make that a little bit grayer. It might actually be... No, that might actually be too big a change. Okay, let me try this one instead. No, that's too significant a change as well. I move it just a little lightly up there. Okay, I think this will have to do. Yeah, I think this will have to do. And there. And then slightly up to that. No, it actually kind of got my colors around wrong. Okay. So, yeah, I kind of got my colors a little wrong because... And in fact, they should not be going like darkest to lightest up to here. I'd forgotten that they needed to go like lightest in the middle and then extend out to darkest. So I need actually to... Yeah, okay, let me make these. This should be the lightest section here. Actually, I think that's a little too light, so... It still feels too light. Okay, that feels much better. Okay. That's good, and then... So, that should be there. Okay, there. Hmm. Yeah, alright. That's good. And here. Now I can use this one. Okay. Okay, and that looks good. So let me add these here. This is really going to depend upon... Yeah, the darkest... Well, the light will probably be reflecting here because it's near the center. So... Yeah, alright. Hmm. Okay, let me go back to this color then. Dang, it's already 11:40. I did. Dang, I have I have so much fun with. Well, I enjoy doing this so much that I barely notice how much long it takes me to do this, even though it's been like really long. Hmm. I do think overall this could be made a little bit darker though. Just doesn't. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I might actually go back to this. Yeah, if I don't finish this by the end of the stream, then I'll just do the rest of this one in my own time, and then just well, show you all on the Discord, and then the next when I have finished it, we'll show you all on stream what it looks like when it's done. Yeah, let me try. Hmm. Actually, let me start outwards. So. Hmm. That's a bit too much, though. Okay. Hmm. There. Okay, that's a little bit better. And there. Yeah, that works. Okay. And go a little bit dark, just a little bit darker. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I must have missed this front portion here. Okay. That's a bit better. Yeah, it looks a lot better, I think. Hmm. Okay, there. Yeah, okay. That looks a lot better. Hmm. I think... Yeah, all these colors are matching up on the right. Okay, they're all matching up the right areas. Okay, good. All right. Okay, let me save my work there. And let me actually hide this for a second. Because whatever... Because, yeah, the color, the shading on this, since these are all the same color, the shading, well, these are all the same base color, and they're going to be the same material. Then the shading will need to extend all the way down to them. For the most part, that is. Okay, so... This makes a good midpoint. How's that look? Well, that's not a good midpoint. That's a... No, not a good enough midpoint. Let me try... Okay, yeah, I think that'll be a good midpoint. Oh, right. That's right. I need to, let me add that to the... Well, it's already on there, so... Yeah, I'll need to make sure to get every single part of this in these colors. Okay, so you zoom in a little bit on this. This is going to have to be the darkest variation of this color. Okay, that's... Yeah, we're coming near the end of the stream. It's like already 11:47, which, dang, I hadn't... Dang, this stream went by really fast. Between Helldivers 2, Silent Hill 2, and, yeah, modeling, this stream went by really fast. So, just want to say thank you all to all the donations and everyone who came to watch this. I think we had quite a few people watching when I was playing Helldivers 2, so that just tells me that I actually... I think the most people watching was when I was playing Helldivers 2, which tells me that I need to stream Helldivers 2 more often. Yeah, thank you for everyone who came and watched it or subbed or resubbed to the channel. And this Saturday is going to be more Trails to Azure. I'm going to be continuing Trails to Azure. And then next Tuesday will be the next one of these streams where I'm going to be probably playing Street Fighter 6. Probably playing some Street Fighter 6. As well as then starting Look Outside. And then doing some pixel art. Where? Here, I'm not going to be able to finish this shading before the end of the stream, so yeah, I'll have to finish this in my own spare time. But let me see who we could raid after this, once the stream ends soon. Okay. let me remove that. Hide all that, and... Hmm. Well, yeah, let me color check the shades for this, because... Okay, so... It might go for a little bit more metallic blue. Like, yeah, more metallic blue. Let me actually color this in, a good portion of this. And... Okay, yeah, the texture is... Yeah, the texture is kind of messing up there, I see. Actually, let me check the top of the blade. That's also kind of messing up there. So I missed that square. No. Yeah, it's kind of messing up. It's slightly messing up there, but this is the worst. This is where it's the worst at. Okay, let me check here and... Okay. That's good for the darker side of it. And let me check. I'll need to go even darker, so... I do really like the angle that the light hits the blade at here. So let me select... Yeah, let me do this again. Okay, there. Okay, I think that'll work. Although that's a bit halfway up the blade, so maybe not. Let me actually select here. And let me... Yeah, let me select this one up here. Okay. Maybe a little bit low. No, that might be good. That might be good. It's a bit too far away from this, though. Okay, so I might need to choose one that's a little bit closer. Okay, now, so let me select this here. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, that'll work, I think. That's a little bit darker, so... Actually, let me add on to this by 1. Let me add on to this one by one. And okay, now I'll need to go a little bit darker. And yeah, a little bit downward. So, hmm. I definitely want to add a couple more shades in here, though. And yeah, this whole front part of the blade, this is going to cause some problems. I can already tell this is going to cause some problems. Hmm. I'll probably call it there for the night. I'm not finished with this. I'll finish with this in my own spare time. But I did make a lot of good progress I got pretty far in the first in like 2 hours. So yeah, and also got pretty far in Helldivers 2 and pretty far in Silent Hill 2 and had a lot of fun in Helldivers 2. So yeah, that'll probably be where I end it for the night. Thank y'all again for tuning in and watching. Let me play this. Yeah, thank y'all again for tuning in and watching, and thank y'all again for the all the subs and the gifted subs. And yeah, we'll go raid because they're streaming right now. We'll go raid Trippy Haps, who's been live for quite some time. Yeah, thank y'all again for tuning in. I'll be back on Saturday with more Trails to Azure. And hope y'all have a good rest of the night. Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, have a good rest of the night. And thank y'all for watching.